How's everyone doing out there? Today's episode, we're going to be talking about, are we the makers of our own destiny, or is it predetermined for us? Stay tuned.
You are listening to the best and the greatest podcast in the world, brought to you by George Carrillo and Miguel Jimenez.
If you're right next to me and we're getting mugged, George, and I feel fear and I process fear, I'm gonna put out the vibe of fear, right? And you're gonna pick up on that, like, oh shit, he's feeling fear.
But what do you mean ultimately, though?
And ultimately, I think that is the connection of life. Emotion, processed with the brain, the way that makes you feel, puts out a frequency, and people around you can pick up on that frequency.
Yes.
Just like this conversation.
Exactly. All right. How's everyone doing out there? Happy post-Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday as well for all those shoppers out there. Hope everyone's staying, hope everyone's staying safe out there. All right. So today's episode, we're actually going to have a great content because it's going to be something that most of us don't really think about. And if you have really thought about it, it's something that you just want some answers to. Right. All right. So today's question, are we the makers of our own lives, or is it predetermined for us, man? This one is something that it took me years to really understand, or at least touch the basics of it, the foundations. Now, a quick disclaimer, I am not a professional. I do not give professional advice about this. So it is my opinion, and my opinion only. We are in America, the freedom of speech that we do have. So let's go in, let's dive into this idea. So one thing I want to start this off, right, and it's the way of little quick leave by example, right? So quick little story about myself, right? Growing up, low income family in East Los Angeles, right? I was blessed to have what I had because my father did what he did in order to provide for all of us, right? Keep that plate on the table, keep us safe and sound, and most important, healthy. And I am mostly blessed, right? And that's something that we're doing right now. We're at Thanksgiving. But growing up, right, as a part of the, what would you much call it, the minority, right, the quote unquote minority, we kind of live a life with superstitions, right? At least me being Latino or Mexican, right? We live in superstitions and whatever, and a lot of us are raised to know that there is already a destiny, or there's already a path for us. And I think the idea is great, right? Because it can motivate you. It can motivate an individual to do a lot of great things in life. You're like, you know what? There's a life for me out there. I need to do the best of it, right? In order to achieve it, which is great. But there is a lot of times where, and this is kind of how I was raised kind of thing, where we were set to the point, I was been told the idea that there's already a destiny, but the miscommunication of the mismeaning of what destiny meant was that it doesn't matter what's going to happen, it's already been done. So it's almost to the point where it's kind of meaningless, which I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because it's like, it puts us back to the ideas of the monarchs and stuff, you know? If you were a peasant, you will stay the peasant. You will never move up into the chain. As long as you become a knight, but even that, must be, a very healthy person. But let's face it, peasants were not that healthy. They were not that strong. They were out there in the farms or doing their thing out there, outside the walls, right? And so that's the type of mentality that you put it in when you're telling someone that, right? When you're telling them, hey, you know what, destiny's there, it's supposed to happen, whatever. And it could really shut down a person. It could really shut them down in doing what they want to do or achieving big goals, et cetera, because they're just like, whatever's going to happen. I was told that I'm going to be a baker or working at McDonald's for the rest of my life, and that's going to happen. No, man, hell no. Don't. And that's why if we go into the first question, right, if we investigate, are we the makers of our own lives? And it is yes. I'm telling you guys right now, you are the makers of your own lives. You get to do what you want to do, right? Yeah. Don't be stuck in a position, right? So let's look at let's look at a surgeon, right? If you go up to a surgeon, a well-known surgeon, If you ask him, hey man, are you surprised? Are you happy? Or are you man, how are you able to do all this? He's gonna tell you one thing. Look, I'm not surprised because I worked my ass off in school for 10, 12, 15 years, right? To be able to do one little small operation. And even after school, like, he has to go, in the job training. He has to put in the work to do what he needs to do. But somewhere, so if you ask him now, the roots were, so when did you knew that you wanted to be a surgeon or a doctor? And I'm pretty sure it's going to be sometime either in high school, right? High school, or even when he was a kid, has been his dream. But the fact that he already thought about, this is what I wanted to do. That is the truth. That sparked already an idea. Like, I want to be a doctor. I need to do whatever I need to do. I need to figure out. I need to find the resources to become the doctor, the person that I want to be. And so he or she set his or hers journey off. 10, 12, 15 years later, he or she is now a well-known surgeon. Saving lives. Hundreds of lives. So that is what I'm talking about, right? The idea that your destiny is not predetermined. Our life is not predetermined. There's no such thing as soon as you wake up, right? Or as soon as you come out of your mother's womb, right? All right, he's gonna be a worker. He's gonna be working at McDonald's. He's gonna be He's gonna be a doc. He's gonna be a doctor. He's gonna be a lawyer. He's gonna be an engineer. No. And even if you're in a position where your parents or whoever is asking you, man, you know what, you better be an engineer, If you don't, I'm gonna disown you, No, man, you know what? A lot of the people, if you really think about it, right, this is something that I did. A lot of people that have told me the idea that my destiny has been predetermined, etc., I have looked at them, and they are one of the most miserable people in this world. It's not that they're rich or anything, right? Because some people out there that are rich, wealthy, rich, are just miserable. Some of them are probably rich because it just happened, chance, man. They won the lottery or something happened, an error or whatever, and it just happened. They're surprised that they're rich, right? So these people, I'm like, okay, so he's saying this, she's saying that. You're working not a job that you like. You hate going back home because you hate your family or whatever the case is, and you're telling me that life is determined, right? And these are the people that I was raised to, to respect and whatever. And I mean, yeah, no, I will respect my elders, etc., but at the same time, wow, like, that's crazy. So that's why we're here at Unboxing the Truth, the idea of destiny. Our life is not predetermined. That's something I want to say. That's based on my opinion, and you have to really think about that as well, right? Think about the people that are telling you guys that your life is predetermined. No, you have to really sit down, think for yourself, and be like, you know what? What is it that I want to do, right? And that's part of onboarding. If you guys haven't listened to onboarding, it's actually a segment or a branch off on Unboxing the Truth. It is hosted by myself as well. It's kind of like putting a twist to Unboxing the Truth, where here we're able to talk about different topics, right? Revealing different things, investigating different things based on our experience in life and articles, etc., and put it into like kind of the mechanics of how to do something, right? And so we're out there, whoever's listening out there too, we're, pretty in some deep stuff right now. So if you guys have some time and you like this Unboxing the Truth, head over to onboarding. But it is true. It is true that your destiny, it is not predetermined at all. So really believe that. Really believe that. Let's move forward with not just what I think, right? I came across this article. It's not by anyone famous or anything, right? I believe they have this is a WordPress blog. It's called "Are We Victims of Faith, or Do We Shape Our Own Lives?" And so when I was reading it, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But they do have I think it's a her. She does have I'm not going to display the name, as long as she, and later on I will be. I haven't obviously gotten permission to talk about this, but I like this article. The quote is, "Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen." And that is true, right? Whatever you want to do, right? What you want to do in your life, that passion that you have. And if you don't know, pick up some books. If you pick up a book, right, whatever the topic is, and if you can't really stick to it, you're bored, whatever, it's probably not something that you like. It's not something that you're interested in. Pick another book. And if that book is interesting, you just gotta like read it. You just can't stop. You might be interested in that, right? That's one way you could do it. But yeah, once you make a decision, right? I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an engineer. I want to be an artist. I want to be a photographer. I want to be whatever the case is. If you put your heart into it, you put the passion into it, it's going to happen, right? And so she has a really good take on the two questions. So what is fate and what is destiny? So faith, let me read a little what she talks about here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But if you guys do want to check it out, we'll be leaving the link below. So you guys can read that yourselves. But here is a little snippet of the question of, so what is faith, right? Fate is simply events that happen beyond a person's control. Events that have been predetermined and will happen despite what you do. In Greek mythology, there are three goddesses called the Fate, or Morai, I believe that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, who determine the course of the life of a person through the thread that is spun at birth, right? So faith is kind of like things that are kind of predetermined already, kind of, man, that was faith, you guys found each other by faith, whatever. And so there's this other part where she talks about the assumption that I make of faith then is that no matter if you had moved to Wisconsin or not, I would have met my husband anytime, any place. So I'm guessing that's she's talking about her. So that's what faith is, right? So it's like, let's just say you are working at a construction, at a construction company, right? Somewhere in North Dakota or whatever the case is, somewhere random, right? But you are originally from California. So in the past, somewhere, right? And you were in California, you decided to go over to North Dakota, and somehow you landed this job. I don't know if it was before or when you got there. But faith is saying that even if you didn't make that idea back in what would you say, California, right? What if in California, and at that same moment in time when you thought about going to North Dakota, you say, you know what, I'm going to go to Arizona. Somehow, right, according to faith, you're still going to end up in North Dakota as a construction officer. I don't know, that it's just really hard to really see, right? So that's the idea of something that is predetermined. So that's crazy. So that's a really strong energy or string power, right? So this is her take on destiny. So really think about that. I like that. So really think about destiny, right? So this is what she says. By definition, destiny is the events that will necessarily happen to a particular person or thing in the future. Source, Oxford Dictionary. Unlike faith, a person can shape or control his or her destiny by choices he or she makes. This is called free will. The ability to make your own decisions no matter what destiny has in store for you. So in other words, I may have been fated to meet my husband, but whether or not I chose to be with him determines my destiny, right? And that is true. And that, I think, so when someone says, man, you know what? There's destiny is real. Your destiny has been written. I wouldn't say it's written. I mean, there might already be a layout to it because, I'm a huge science fiction guy, right? So I love science and et cetera, et cetera. And so the idea of time, right? My idea of time, it's not really linear. Time could be anywhere, right? It could be, because when we think about, let's just say, our moments, oh man, you know what? That's kind of hard to explain though. But yeah, think about how time cannot be linear, right? It could be, let's say a sphere, right? So anywhere you go within, so it's kind of like the Earth, right? Let's just say Earth was time. So anywhere you go, right? It's the different moments in your life, right? But you're able to travel through them, right? So there's no such thing as you have to live today in order to see tomorrow. You know, you get it? So anyways, it's kind of complicated, but at the same time, yeah, destiny is, you know, yeah, sure, it might be written or whatever the case, but you still have whatever decisions you make right now or tomorrow or the decisions that you make yesterday. Hey, man, that's what you are doing. That's what you are written. That's what you are writing. That's what you're doing. So yeah, it's no such thing as it's already done for you. Your life is already written down and done for you. That's something that I want to tell every one of you guys. So if you're sitting down right now and really thinking about what is it that you want to do, right? Or you don't really like your life, man, you got to do something. Stand up. Go out there. See the world. Life is too short. I think this is the only time I really think about that. Life is too short to just sit down and not do nothing. I hate for me to see you guys or hear from you guys one day through an email or a letter saying that you guys lived a unfulfilled life, right? I don't want you guys to eventually go on and, go on and retire at 65 and now you're bored because you don't have nothing else to do. And yeah, man. You know that according to life insurance companies, right? I think about, and it's in the high 80s or 90s, all those people that actually finally retire end up dying within the next 5 years. That's scary. So that means that by your 65, you finally retire. By 70, you're kind of destined, in a way, quote unquote, right, to die. And you know why, right? This actually concept came from an Uber driver that I had. We were talking about retirement and what he has doing. And one thing I asked him, right? I'm like, well, what are you doing, man? Are you retired or what? He's like, look, I wouldn't say I'm retired, but my concept of retirement, right? He's like, a lot of people. He's like, I'm not 65, but a lot of people think that way, right? Once they're 65, they're gonna be retiring, et cetera, et cetera. And so now they think they have $1 million saved up on their 401k or whatever they saved it at. And yeah, he's like, I don't want to retire in money. I want to retire with time. And I was just like, oh man, that's great. And I told him about the study, right? I told him about the life insurance companies, about those 80-90% of the people that retire at 65 end up dying in 5 years. And he asked me the question, you know why, right? The question that I just asked you. And I'm like, no, why? And he says, just imagine doing something for 40, 50 years, the same thing over and over. You wake up, go to work, come back, doing the same thing for that amount of time. Then one day you retire, you stop. And he said, what's the difference between that person and someone getting out of jail after 20, 30 years? He says, they have lived a structured life, right? A life that has been routine for that many time, for that long, that when it finally stops, it's gone. They don't know what to do. They're miserable. They're frustrated. Like, I need to do something. They want to do the same thing over again. So if that is your idea, right? If that's what you want to do, go ahead. But this is my take on it. I'm not saying it's bad to retire at 65 and work for a company for 40, 50 years or whatever the case is, but I want you guys to do something on the side, that hobby, so that when eventually you do retire, right? When you eventually do finally retire, you have something to do. Because I could only imagine myself being 65 and now I don't know what to do, right? Say I retired doing podcast. I don't think there's such thing as retiring from podcasting. Yeah, you might retire, but I think you still be creating, stories here and there and then doing whatever. Or still talking to people, right? Podcasting, I talk. I'm not going to stop talking. But I can only imagine doing something that I love or doing something that I hate for that many years and one day just stopping. I don't have nothing else to do. I don't know nothing else, right? Because I never actually explored the world to new hobbies, to new horizons. So all I knew was to flip a burger for 40 years. Now, I'm not. So what do I do? See how crazy that is, right? So don't let fate or the destiny tell you what you have to do. You have the right to do what you want to do. Remember, that's called free will. Do what you need to do. I want everyone listening right now, all of humanity that we're broadcasting out to really think about that. Whatever it is that you want to do, and if it's that something that you're doing right now, if you're working at Walmart or wherever it is, your engineer or whatever the case is, think about it. Build your success, not with money but with time. Retire not with money but with time. See how money is not even relevant to the idea of greatness or success? You think that I think I have said this before. I don't chase this for the love of money. I'm chasing this for the love of what the message is that I want to get across to you guys. That one day someone will email me and Miguel and be like, you know what, guys? Thanks to your podcast, my life changed, not just for the good, for the better. I used to be working at McDonald's for 10 years until I finally heard your podcast, and I am now back at school, or even better yet, I finally graduated, and now I am moving forward and doing something that I finally like to do. That is something priceless, not something that I asked for, right? I think that's the only thing I would ask for. Someone, just that one email to tell me that one day. That's why I do it. Because I think and I'm not trying to be selfish, right? I'm pretty sure Jay Mines out in 209, he wasn't able to come today for the show, but just think about it. The idea that one day, I mean, I was able to do this. I was able to just, you know what, set up in my living room and finally be able to do a podcast, safe and sound. I think I'm grateful for it. And at this point, if I'm only getting 1 view or 2 views or listeners, I think that's okay, man. At least I'm doing something. I'm doing something out of my, career job, so that when that one day comes, when that is over, I'm still here. I'm still talking to you guys. I'm still spreading the word. And if I get to bring in more people into the show, right? Be part of the show or people to interview, even better. So what do you guys think about all of that, right? Yeah. That was good. So a little quick words of wisdom. Let's cue the music and let's stay motivated. Today's Friday as well, Black Friday. Be safe out there, everyone. So let's get this shit going. I think what you need to ask yourself is, what is it that you want to do? And think about it. Go out there. We have the beautiful, magical, the miracle of the internet. We get to go on and go to Google and ask any question we want to do. So whatever you want to do, go out there and research what you need to do. Find the resources. And if you don't know, if you want to ask someone ask someone you love. Ask someone that might know. Or email us. I'll go out of my way to research what is it that you want to do, and I will send you guys steps of how to do it. I know not everyone out there has the ability to have access to the internet, so I want everyone to just really do that. If you're doing something that you hate, that you just don't want to do no more, you're at a job where management just sucks, or the hours are just horrible, the pay is just not right, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Do something about it. Don't be helpless. To today's world, man. Oh, man. We have so much opportunity, so many different ways to do what we want to do, so many things to achieve, etc., etc. Don't be scared. Don't fear that path, the journey, the jungle. You think that I'm scared of doing this podcast? At first I was, but once I took that first step, I do not regret it. You think that when I went to the Navy, I was scared? I was shitless, but oh man, I don't regret anything of it. But my past is my past. My experiences have only got me to where I am today, and I am fully blessed. So I want you guys to do the same. Stay motivated, stay happy. Can you guys do that? Woo! I love you guys all, man. I love you guys. I really do. All right. Yeah. Episode done. We are here to stay. Unboxing the Truth. George Carrillo. Miguel Jimenez, J Mines is out on the 209 doing his thing with his family and stuff like that. He actually just texted me right now. He's actually thanking me for the fact that we're always keeping motivated, everyone, man. We're keeping us both motivated, and that is very important. So thank you guys all for listening and staying tuned, man. Till next time. Hey, how's it going? George here from Unboxing Truth and Now Boarding. Thank you guys for listening to this great episode today. And remember, if you got comments or questions or concerns about this podcast, send them over to unboxingthetruth.biz. Our Twitter's up and running too, Unboxing T Truth, as in the letter T between unboxing and truth. And our Instagram, Unboxing Truth, as well. So stay tuned for that. And go check out our content.